Hello. Welcome in to the main event mixer right here on the Main Event Wrestling Network. As you can see, I am joined by two pals today. We're going to be talking some AEW Grand Slam, which is airing at 8 p.m. Eastern this evening. Now, I know it was in Australia. I know it's already happened. I know spoilers are out there. I know some people know what happened. We have avoided, for the most part, everything. I don't know anything. We've avoided it. We are very much previewing it as people who have not watched it yet. So we're happy you're here. We're happy you're in the chat. But if anybody's in the chat and you're going to be spoiling stuff and you're going to be bums in the chat, well, I'm going to kick you a bum out of here is what's going to happen. All right? Just want to get that out in the front. As we dive into this main event mixer, I am excited to be here on Valentine's Day with these two lovely fellas. I will go around the room. We have Mr. Butters, Charlie Butters. How are you doing, my friend? How are you?
All right.
Good. Love to hear it. And then we got from the Kicking Out podcast, as he calls himself, Main Event Shep. I don't know about that. But we got the man. We got Shep down there. How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. You're looking good on Valentine's Day. Like the shirt. You're
well, you know, I listen. I have a 3-course meal to take the lady out to right after this. I got a nice little 3-course meal. We got drink pairings with it. Nice little wine and dine for the holiday. So
you hooked up with a dapper yapper.
I tried
and got on your wardrobe. I like
it.
Like
yeah. So not too bad. But I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to talk a little AEW Grand Slam. We got a hell of a card that is happening tonight over in Australia. 6 matches, 4 of which are title matches. So it should be a really, really, really fun show with a lot of happenings happening as we build towards AEW Revolution. And we're not going to waste any time. We're going to get right into it. And we are going to start with a mixed tornado tag match. It is Orange Cassidy and Timeless Tony Storm taking on the Death Riders, who will be represented by Wheeler Yuta and Marina Shafir. But the stipulation here is whoever takes the pinfall has to get their head shaved. So I'll start with you, Butters. Obviously, looking at this, you would think, well, I mean, straggly ass Wheeler Yuta is going to get his stuff shaved. How are you feeling about this, Butters?
So, I mean, with that stipulation, that very specific stipulation, instead of just being both members of the team, being the person who eats the pinfall, I mean, it feels like it's 98 WWF all over again, where they're kind of foreshadowing that, yeah, it's going to be him. Will there be a bunch of craziness involved in it? Sure. I think that they're going to swerve us pretty good, but I think it's pretty foregone that it's going to be Mr. Wheeler Yuta with that nice shaved head.
I mean, that's what I would think, Shep. I mean, I personally think that Marina Shafir could really pull off a badass. Like, if they wanted to make, like, even, like, more of a psycho-looking badass, her bald for a little bit, or with the wiffle cut, that could be some gnarly stuff. But are you in agreement? Do you think this is Wheeler Yuta? You know?
I am not. I think that's the obvious take. And if you've watched any of our prediction shows over the past, Tony Khan is not obvious. I think he's a wild card. And there's one character, there's one personality in these 4 individuals that could pull off their gimmick with or without hair, and it's Tony Storm.
Wow. That'd be something. That'd be a choice.
She can pull it off. Orange Cassidy, you know, looking into it, Orange Cassidy, who's all nervous, like I can't be me without my hair. Yeah. So I really think, and Marina, it puts her one step closer to a main eventer in the women's division. I think Tony Storm eats this pin, and we get a bald Tony Storm on Wednesday.
Wow, that would be quite a decision, especially with the character kind of being, you know, what timeless and the pinup and, you know, kind of the old actress of sorts with the bald hair. I do agree with you that I do think if there was somebody that could pull it off under any circumstance, it would be Tony. Like, Tony would find a way to make it the most entertaining thing. She absolutely could. Mm-hmm. That would be something. I wouldn't hate a swerve because it like Butter. It is pretty obvious, like you both said, that Wheeler Yuta's had the long hair, the straggly beard for a while now. Everyone always comments on it, like in character, on the shows. It would make sense that it would be him. My question is, if it is him, does he keep the beard? Does he just get shaved head? Does he keep the beard? Because the beard is quite long too.
Yeah, the beard would play with the bald head.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it'd play.
Yeah.
I think the fun answer in this is Tony Storm, but I think the obvious is him, and I think like you said, Tony Storm would be so fun to see like this, because I mean, yeah, she could just absolutely wear wigs, like it's totally a thing for women to wear wigs in wrestling, so like she could totally play it off. I mean, her butler is bald, so like Luther, like that whole deal when they were kind of talking about it and saying how ugly bald people are, and him just standing there kind of looking at her. I think there's a lot of fun stuff they could do with it, but I mean, that would be really great. I think, yeah, like Wheeler Yuta being that answer. I think that's Death Riders win so often that I think that they need to eat this pen. They need to take the loss. With the title changing hands on Wednesday for the women's title, I don't see like them kind of like positioning Marina in there just yet. I think there's some interesting stuff that's going to have to happen before that, but by the end of the year for sure. But I'm curious like where we go from there too. Like on either point, like I could see like Tony could go take this and run with us for a bit. They did take a chunk of Mina Shirakawa's hair, so like
they did.
So it could be interesting.
Yeah, I agree. And I that's a good point that you bring up, because this past Wednesday we did have the title change to the Women's Heavyweight Championship. So that kind of obviously changes the landscape of what we're looking now. All of a sudden we have a heel champion that's part of a heel faction, and we don't have. So now we're going to be looking at who are the babyface challengers really that can go try to take out Tekla as she is the new champion. So that is a good point that you bring up there, Butters. So I mean, this one is going to be fun. I love a good mixed tag. The stipulation's a fun one. It is a little bit old school with the shaving the head, but it is a fun one. And I think, Tony Storm, Australia, this is going to be a good time. This is going to be a really, really good time here. And speaking of a good time, for anybody that just popped in, you are watching the Main Event Mixer here on the Main Event Wrestling Network. You see this little QR code to my corner here. Click that. You can follow us on all social media platforms at Main Event_net. You can also click the thumbs up on this video, share this out, like it. All of that helps us tremendously. So please, any love that you can spare, we appreciate here. All right, let's keep this train moving. We have ourselves a singles match, and the winner of this singles match will receive an AEW World Heavyweight Championship match come Revolution in March. We've kind of seen like this mini tournament they've had going on with Kenny Omega, Swerve, and these two gentlemen. It'll be Hangman Adam Page going one-on-one with Andrade El Idolo. I'm going to be honest, I did not expect this to be Andrade. I thought they were going the Hangman Kenny route here. I thought for sure that's what we were going to get, that run back of Hangman and Kenny. But I am not upset, because I'll tell you what, now that he's officially over in AEW and he's been wrestling in New Japan, Andrade is really just, his matches that he's been putting on here have been tremendous. As you expect, he's one of the best wrestlers in the world. But like, it really feels like he's in his bag right now, like the stuff that he's doing in this tournament. I expect this to be maybe the show stealer of the evening with these two guys. But I think Hangman Adam Page is going to win. I think we're going to Hangman and MJF. Spoiler alert for when we talk about what the main event will be. But I think we're heading towards MJF and Hangman at Revolution. Shep, I'll start with you on this one. Where are you going here?
I think Andrade. I think he needs to win. Okay, when he left the company, he came back. Had to leave again. Now he's officially back. And I don't think a loss hurts Hangman as much as it would hurt Andrade. Okay. So To keep, if you want to push Andrade as a main event guy, I think he goes over here. I think it's like you said, I think it could steal the show. I think it's a very hard hitting, stiff match, and then boys leave it all in the ring. But I got Andrade.
All right, Butters, what are you thinking about this one?
So, I love Andrade. I love that he's back and he's doing his thing. And I think if he can separate himself from all the backstage BS and just focus on being in-ring performer, that we're going to get the best version of him here. Towards the end of his first AEW run, when he was doing stuff in the Continental Classic, he was excellent. You could tell that Tony really knows how to book him and understands his character and what to do with him. So I feel like if we can keep that momentum going, Andrade can absolutely be one of the top, like the main event scene. He can be in that mix all day long. Does he win tonight? It all depends. I feel like that answer mixes with the championship match, very much so. If Brody's going to walk out champion, then I can see Andrade winning. If MJF is going to retain, then I can see Hangman being that one to get that first big pay-per-view shot at him. I don't see Hangman winning that pay-per-view shot, but I feel like the way they've been booking lately is very old school, and I feel like Hangman, big baby face versus MJF heel is going to be the go-to. Like, I mean, they're like pillars for the company. So I feel like I want Andrade to win. I'll say that. Do I think he's going to win? No, I think they're going to make Hangman win.
Okay.
But I would love if they did the Andrade, and even if they did Andrade and MJF, I think that could be very different and entertaining. So.
Oh yeah, oh for sure. And I might have missed it when they explained it, but is there a reason why Andrade had to win a bunch of matches to potentially go to MJF, but Hangman just needs to win this one? Did they explain why that happened? Because it was just kind of like, all right, Andrade, you need to beat Swerve. And then he does, okay, you need to now beat Omega. And then he does. And now it's, oh, well, you need to beat Hangman now. Whereas Hangman just was in this match. It was just,
I feel like they had other plans because obviously the Joe being injured part kind of took that out. I think Hangman would have had to face Joe to get to this next match, and with Joe being injured, they just kind of skipped over it. They didn't put anybody in the place, even though there's 16 members of the Don Callis family. They could have one of them could have popped in. And don't take that as a shot against them. I love the Don Callis family. I love that there's 16 members. I dig the whole thing. Like, I'm probably one of the few that does. I love Don Callis. I've liked him since ECW. But yeah, I think that they could have done something there. But also I think that Andrade coming back has to prove himself to the point where, like, he hasn't done anything in how long. He needs to get a couple wins to kind of show, like, hey, he's got momentum. He should be in this scene. And by beating Swerve, that's a huge one right there. Like, that he could defeat Swerve, who was just in the 4-way for the title. So I feel like that puts him in that contention. So I think there might have been a mix of things, but they just kind of melded it together.
And I too. I think they wanted to erase your mind that Andrade was here before. Andrade is fresh. He's starting over fresh. So maybe that was kind of the momentum behind him saying, "No, you got to earn your way up there." Hangman's already there. He's been there from the start. So maybe that's kind of their play on that. And Butters, I hated Cyrus the Virus. I hated him. I love Don Callis now, but I hated him in ECW. Sorry.
I think I love the idea of the network and him being the network's guy. I just love that idea. I just as a younger guy that didn't watch a lot of the original ECW, my first ever real exposure was ECW on TNN. That character really captured my imagination of being the corporate, the network doesn't want this, and having a stable of just badasses be able to enforce those rules. I think it's still stuck with me for all this time.
And I think Paul Heyman's reason behind that is he got into this TNN deal and realized they were the guinea pigs because they were going to move Monday Night Raw there. And he basically said, F you. So Cyrus the Virus was a parody making fun of his own network.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
And I
100%.
love it. What a genius. What a freaking genius.
He just, Don Callis is just, even when he was just doing commentary for New Japan and stuff, I liked him. Like, and I've heard like, just backstage that he hates everybody equally, so he's really fun to be around because he'll just like shit on everybody and doesn't care. And I love that. I think he's just one of those guys that I would probably be friends with because I am very similar with how I treat everybody and how I don't hate everybody, but like I'll bust balls all day long, and I think he's one of those guys that would absolutely do that. And so I think him and I would get along very well.
Yeah. And we got the man himself. We got Kyle, Too Sweet Kyle in the chat saying, look at
Hi,
these
boss man.
Gentlemen. Appreciate you popping in, my friend. Thanks for being here in the chat tonight. Yeah.
Making sure we're not ruining anything.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say, one thing I do appreciate about Don Callis is even though he is this like mega heel with this mega faction, whenever he's on commentary, even though he's playing the heel and he's talking his shit, he always puts over the opponent that his guy is fighting. Like there will be one or two lines where they, Excalibur will mention, well, this guy is this what, and he goes, oh, he's a great, he always does that on top of him being most of the time an a-hole and being like, this evil bad guy. So I do appreciate, and he did that a lot when he was in New Japan. He was a bad guy announcer, but he always would put over even the good guy wrestlers like, hey, he's one of the best wrestlers in the world.
Right.
He wouldn't like saying it, but he would say it. You know what I mean?
And I think like even the crowd reaction to him, like he'll be on commentary, but the crowd is like so heated against him that like they get an F Don Callis chant going, and he'll get off commentary and stand up and like, be like, why are you mad at me? And just I love that he plays off that even when he's not like at ringside causing trouble. He's literally just sitting there doing commentary, and people hate him enough to still like chant that during the match when it's like he's not even doing anything in the match. It's just he's the guy you like to hate, and I love it.
He is. I mean, I'm an AEW fan. Obviously, I watch all wrestling, and I'm on an AEW podcast. But he is the Paul Heyman of AEW. He's not the level of Paul Heyman. Okay, I think Paul Heyman's above him, but he's what Tony Khan has equivalent to Paul Heyman.
Oh, for sure, absolutely.
I think he may be a step down from Heyman. Like Heyman is, I think, very different in certain aspects, but I love that they can like take that character and just make it their own and do their own thing. Like Callis, I think it's like 1A, 1B for me. Like, for them being like the top, those top
I would
guys
agree.
like that. So.
I would agree. And speaking of Don Callis, another one of the Don Callis family, we saw on Wednesday night in an early match of the year candidate with Kyle Fletcher and Tommaso. What a match they had. Tommaso Ciampa and Kyle Fletcher. We saw Kyle Fletcher once again become the TNT champion. And right after the match, he said, not only am I bringing this belt home to Sydney, Australia, but I am going to be defending this bad boy against anybody from anywhere. And we saw Mark Briscoe once again come out and say, hey, man,
number 7.
We've had 6 matches. You've won 3. I've won 3. We need a game 7. I'm challenging you, game 7. And then Fletcher said, all right, well, it's not just going to be any old match. We're going to have ourselves a ladder match. So we have a ladder match for the AEW TNT Championship. Kyle Fletcher defending against Mark Briscoe. Butters, I'm going to start with you on this one, but I'm pretty sure we're probably all going to have the same opinion here. Ain't no damn way in hell that Kyle Fletcher is losing this title in Australia mere days after he just won this back.
I mean, people would have said that Ciampa was taking that title with him to Australia, and he didn't. So
that's fair.
I love, like, people were like, oh, he's already tired of Tommaso Ciampa talking about TK, and I'm just like, no, man. Like, I think they need to hot shot a belt around a little bit, and there's so much talent everywhere. You can't do that with the heavyweight title right now, but you can absolutely do it with the TNT title. So why not? This match absolutely favors Mark Briscoe for the hardcore style. I absolutely love Kyle Fletcher. I've been on the Kyle Fletcher train for the last year, and even more so lately. He's just been so insanely talented. He's just so talented, and just he's funny online too when he replies to stuff. I think he's just overall great talent. I want him to win. I like Mark Briscoe, but I want him to win. But I got a feeling that they're gonna put it back on Briscoe. Like it's just gonna hot potato right back to him.
All right. Well, all right.
It fits with that style.
Yeah.
I'm wrong, but I got a feeling Mark Briscoe's taking it.
All right, Shep, where are you aligned when it comes to Game 7, as they're calling it?
I don't disagree with Butters being that this match favors Briscoe because it totally does. But the way I feel like they're pushing Fletcher, I think Fletcher goes over here. I think he retains. Little disappointed that Tommaso only had 11 days as champion. Kind of shocked me. Again, like you said, match of the year possibility. And I love Mark Briscoe. Like I was one of the biggest Briscoe fans of all time, but I don't. And the only way this works is if they really want to put a rocket up Mark Briscoe's, you know what, him taking this belt in Australia, like him going in there. That and if that happens, then they're really going to shoot this guy to the moon. Don't see it happening. Fletcher retains.
Yeah, I'm leaning that way too. I just feel like it's clear to everybody that Kyle Fletcher is a world heavyweight champion type talent. It's clear. But he's obviously not involved with what they got going on up there right now. I understand why Briscoe beat him for the title when Kyle first lost the title, but I personally would have just kept the title on Kyle this whole time because I just feel like this is a good role for him. It's like, one of the main mid-card. It was the first, it is the main mid-card championship. I feel like it still is to me, at least. I know there are others now, but I still look at the TNT title like that was the first mid-card title. Like that still is the main one to me.
Right.
And I
feel like should be defended on TV almost every other week, and I think he's that workhorse that could do
100%. And I think that
it's the Intercontinental belt, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, and it should be defended weekly on television, open challenges, or however you want to do it. And Fletcher is that workhorse, and he can have a match against anybody, any size, does not matter. And you're going to get what we see on a regular basis with him. I think this is a good spot for him. And I love Mark Briscoe too, like you guys. I love Mark Briscoe. Would I be upset if Briscoe won it? Absolutely not, because I love that guy. But to me, bringing it home to Australia, that would be major, even though Briscoe's the good guy. That would be major heat. That would be major heat if Briscoe were to go into Australia, because I would assume that Fletcher's going to get the hero's welcome on this show, even though he is the heel. He's going to get the hero's welcome, right? So that would be some crazy heat in the arena, at least, if they were to make that switch so quickly. But I think
I can also see if they do it though. Maybe Ciampa comes out. Maybe you have a Don Callis family member come out of if either or could be interfering on either's behalf. So I mean, they can do some dusty finishes, so to say, to kind of get things going. Like if it was just going to be one-on-one, there's could be a certain way, but I feel like there's going to be some interference. There's going to be looking forward to the pay-per-view. Ciampa's definitely probably going to get a rematch against whoever comes out of this, the winner. So or it could even be a triple threat. Who knows? All three of these guys in the ring together could be insane. So I'm all for whatever they come up with here, but I feel like there might be some other stuff at play than just a straightforward ladder match with the two of them just going crazy. So
it should be a good one no matter what. It should be going. And I think, if you're going to run this back, and I know a lot of people, and Josh in the chat is saying, enough of the Briscoe stuff. If you're going to run it back for a seventh time, obviously the Game 7 shtick works, but I think making it a ladder match and making it a stipulation match was kind of not the only way, but it was one of the main ways that you were going to get people to kind of buy into these guys wrestling again because they just felt like they just feuded for so long when Kyle was the champion until Mark finally beat him. But to answer Hellraiser in the chat, if you are in Texas, yes, it's at 8 p.m. Eastern. So whatever that equates to what Texas is, that is when it will be live tonight for Grand Slam Collision.
Yeah, they're an hour behind, so it'd be 7.
So it would be 7 for you guys in Texas.
Yeah, my buddy lives in Dallas, so I'm used to
go.
that time change now when I have to talk to him.
There we go. All right. We have ourselves an AEW Women's World Championship match happening. It is the Babes of Wrath, Harley Cameron in her home country, and Willow Nightingale defending against Mega Bad, Megan Bayne, and Penelope Ford. I actually think that Mega Bad, if Penelope didn't get injured, I thought that they were going to win the inaugural tournament to be the first ever champions. They were my pick. I thought they did a good enough job sticking Marina in there and making that work for what it ended up being. But when I first saw that bracket, I kind of picked Megan Bayne and Penelope to be the champions right away. And I know you were thinking maybe Kyle Fletcher loses his title in his home country. I think this is where we get the title change of the night. I think Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford are going to win these titles. And because Willow has the TBS championship, which they hot-shotted to her, beating Mercedes. And, I'm frustrated with that, not because of Willow. I love Willow. Who doesn't? But, the second they put that TBS title on Willow, it kind of put the tag titles in the back burner, I feel like, which was unfortunate because these are new belts that you just crowned this likable team. You want the focus to be on the tag titles, and then you give Willow this the main mid-card women's title, and it's like, oh, well, now the tag titles are an afterthought to her because of the TBS. I don't know. I felt like and this is another thing for another day. I personally felt like that should have been the last title Mercedes lost. Should have been the TBS title, but that's another argument for another day. But, and Shep, I'll start with you on this one, but I think we're getting new champs here. I think Megan Bayne and Penelope are leaving Australia as the new Women's World Tag Team Champions.
100% agree. It's their time. It's time for Willow to move on as a singles competitor. I've been on the Willow bandwagon for a while. So I think it's time for her to move on as a singles competitor and elevate her to the main event side of the women's championship. And you look at who's going to win this title, the Bayne and Penelope. I think they're good, So it elevates everybody. Harley Cameron kind of gets lost in my scenario, but she's personable enough; she'll figure it out.
Yeah.
She can talk. She'll figure it out. So, yeah, I think this is the title change we're going to see tonight.
All right. Butters, where's your mind at when it comes to the women's tag titles?
My gut says that you guys are on the right track with them winning, but my heart says that the Babes of Wrath retain. I feel like they've only had, 1 or 2 defenses. I don't feel like it's enough yet to take the belts off of them. I feel like Penelope being one of the people that's consistently injured could be an issue. That might give them pause to put the belts on them, than having to find an interim champion or whatever of their second set of them. Yeah, they should. I think that it's better when you do a tournament like that the heel wins to end the tournament. That way, because it's always an easy story to have a babyface team chasing the heels champion. And I know we're getting the new women's tag team of the Brawling Birds or whatever.
Yep.
So I know that they're kind of starting to hype them up, but I don't feel like it's going to be an instant they're right in the title contention. So I want, with Willow holding both belts, I don't think has she even defended the TBS title?
I can't remember that she has yet. I don't think she has.
She has not.
So maybe that's the route they're going to go. Like, she hasn't defended it, so now they're going to drop him, and she's going to go defend it. Maybe even, feud with Harley. Maybe, Harley turns and they have to fight over the belt. So, I mean, it's definitely possible.
Yeah. I don't,
Personally, I want Willow to win all the belts and just
fair enough. I would be okay with that.
Everything. I love Willow.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. I was in the building where the reception for Willow was so strong they had to turn Red Velvet heel. Because she beat Willow, and the people I'm in the Boston area. The people in Boston in the arena were like, "Yeah, that don't work for us, man. That don't work for us." And they were like, "All right, well, we're turning her heel." So Willow is special. And again, like, would I be upset if the Babes of Wrath retain? Absolutely not. I like their gimmick. I like them as a team. Harley Cameron has improved so greatly in the ring, and she's turned herself into a legitimate commodity in that company. I would not be upset if they retain it all. I just feel like if, there's 4 title matches tonight, I feel like one of them should change hands. And if you're going to do that, I feel like this might be the most logical one to do it. Could be the next one that I'm really excited about too. But so I think I'm picking a Mega Bad here, and we'll see what happens. But all right, we have another championship match. This one for the AEW Continental Championship, and this one should be a friggin' doozy, boys. It is Jon Moxley defending against Konosuke Takeshita. Man, Butters, I'm going to go to you first on this one. This is the match I'm looking forward to the most on the show. I think this is going to be tremendous. Takeshita, for me, might be the best wrestler on the planet. I'd love to see him win it here, but what do you think of Butters? Because this match should be – they're going to beat the shit out of each other, and it's going to be wonderful.
I want Takeshita to win so bad.
Yes.
Just because then I want him to go on and face Okada and get us that match that I thought we were going to get in the Continental Classic.
Yeah.
That I thought was going to be like the finish to everything before. Like, I realized they were switching things around.
Yeah.
Moxley, though, this being like, he's done a couple like eliminators for it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say that Moxley wins because Okada accidentally costs
That's fair.
Takeshita the match.
All right. And, Moxley now, the Death Riders and Moxley, obviously, like, they've been kind of tweeners here. Like, they're kind of getting babyface reactions and, like, going that way a little bit, even in the promo work from Moxley. And, so obviously Moxley and the Death Riders have been around for a long time, longer than I think any of us expected them to probably last at this point. But they are kind of going in a different direction this last month and a half, 2 months, because they are kind of teasing and leaning, maybe heading towards a baby face, at times. But Shep, what are you thinking here? Like, do you think Moxley retains?
No, I think it's time to move this belt on. Mox doesn't need a belt. Okay, Mox is Mox. Death Riders are the Death Riders. They don't need the belts. They can cause havoc whenever the hell they want. It's time for Takeshita. So yeah, I mean he held that New Japan gold. It's time for him to hold some AEW gold. It's time to move on to him. And then it gives the Don Callis family more clout. They got some belts. So yeah, I think you're going to see an absolute hard hitting match. I made a comment about the stiff match earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I think this one might be a little bit more stiffer between these two guys. But yeah, I like Takeshita for sure.
Yeah. I think this is a perfect match to open the show. Just kind of get people riled up right away with these two guys just throwing haymakers at each other. And this one's going to be really good. I'm expecting really, really big things from this match. I am also leaning Takeshita. I think it's time. It's been time for him in AEW for a while now. I feel like he should have won the Continental Class. I don't hate the way it went but he should have won the Continental Classic. He should have beat Okada in the championship match for that, in my opinion, not in the semi. And then he ended up losing anyway. But I just thought the Continental Classic was the time to crown Takeshita. They didn't do it. I feel like this is a way he wins this belt. And like Butters said, you get back to him and Okada again for a championship. And this is kind of the route, an easier way for them to set that up. And I hope that's what we get here.
I just want to remind people that the Death Riders killed Bryan Danielson.
That is true. That is true.
So we should not ever cheer them ever again. They took the goat away from us. I will never ever cheer for them, no matter how much they want me to. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair argument.
In that, I can't cheer him. He took my goat away. So
yeah, listen, I completely understand. Then that is true, and I do
respectful.
I do like it because like Danielson's been back on commentary, but on Wednesday when Moxley was on commentary, Danielson wasn't out there. They had him go out in the back, like, so they're still like avoiding each other, even though like I like how they little things like that in wrestling. I appreciate that they're like, oh yeah, you're not going to be out there for this because that guy murdered you. He put a plastic bag and tried to kill you over your head, so you're not going to be out there. So I appreciate little things like that.
I'm known by rabbit holes, right? I have a T-shirt for it. Are you guys shocked that Brie showed back up in WWE and not AEW with her husband?
No, I mean, what's she going to do in AEW? She's got an easy.
She had an offer on the table.
Yeah, but like, what is she really going to? My thing is, if you want to get the bag, it's very easy to just team up with your sister. They'll get a title match at Mania for the tag title. It's very easy to do that, I feel like. Whereas in AEW, it's not like she's going to be a formidable force in the women's division.
She's
not.
I'm sorry, but the AEW women's division is 10 miles ahead of her.
Exactly.
They tried to claim what I mean? They have stolen valor for the women's revolution. In my opinion, I don't think that they had anything to do with it. I think that all lands on the shoulders of the four horsewomen with Paige and all them, and Becky and all them. I don't think that the Bellas had anything to do with that whatsoever, in my opinion. But they absolutely tried to be the forefront of it, and I think, like I said, that's stolen valor. She is a name in WWE, but she's never been anywhere else. She doesn't love wrestling like AEW wrestling, like fans love wrestling. She's not a sicko. She's not into it. She wouldn't wrestle on the indies. I don't think she'd. She's a WWE person. I'm not shocked.
Yeah, and like that's how I kind of look at it. For me, at least, like I'm just like, again, like if I try to view it, it's like, yeah, like I don't think the AEW fan base would. Yeah, it's a big name. Don't get me wrong. Like she's a big name, and she would be a big name coming in. But like, I don't think the AEW. I don't think it just would fit. Like, I don't think her wrestling's like, I don't think the wrestling stuff.
It's too. Like, the fans would expect so much from her, and if she couldn't deliver, which I'm not saying she couldn't, but I don't think she could.
Yeah,
I think that she would get booed out of the building in her first match. I think that they would be like, she's garbage. What is this? Somebody would really have to try to carry her.
I think WWE owns the Bella name, don't they?
Yeah. So she would have to be. I would have guessed Brie Danielson. They would kind of go that route, right. I would think. So I don't know. It just didn't feel like. Look, if she wants to have one more run, like you're gonna get a Mania match out of her. The Bella's probably going in the Hall of Fame next year. Probably they'll do that shtick. They'll get that out of her. They'll be in a multi-team match for the women's tag titles at WrestleMania. Huge name at Mania. One last Mania for them. It just kind of makes sense that would be the route. You know what I mean? Whereas I feel like if she came into AEW, she would have to prove herself almost to like not only like to the fans. Like I feel like the fans would be like, no. We know you're a big name, but like, no, you need to have good match. You need to prove yourself that like we should invest
build that
in
legacy that you already have built in with WWE.
Yeah.
Yeah. And WWE is very good of putting that machine behind you and being like, oh no, look, she's really great. This is just her last run and da. So whatever happens, it's just because of the 100%. Experience she has, and it's AEW is like, go out there and sink or swim, see what happens. That's what I like about it.
Yeah.
Good take on that, boys. Good take.
Yeah. All right, that leads us to what we assume will be the main event of the evening. It is for the AEW Men's World Heavyweight Championship. not this past Dynamite, but last week's Dynamite, we saw Brody King absolutely squash MJF in less than a minute in an eliminator match, which led to this. It is MJF defending against Brody King. I would love Brody King to win this match, but I do not think Brody King is going to win this match, sadly. But I also have been saying, and I hope I'm right because I like to be right, I think we could see Buddy Matthews return and cost Buddy King here tonight. And I think it's in Australia. We haven't seen Buddy for a long time. We hope he's healthy. He's been out since last year's a Grand Slam, correct? It's been, it's been a long time with the ankle injury. They're in his home country,
man.
Yeah, I know.
With the downfall of Adam Cole, and now Buddy Matthews is.
I know, and I just think, we saw Brody squash MJF. We've seen MJF not really like be afraid of Brody, but we know MJF. We know he's like, yeah, he doesn't want to. I just can't see MJF beating Brody clean. I just can't. And I feel like what a way to get not only Buddy back in the fold of things, but if MJF's not always, but like the times that he's had a heater, whether it's been Wardlow or when he was with the Inner Circle or the Pinnacle, whenever he's had a heater, that like just adds to the greatness of MJF to me because he has somebody else to. And if you want to bring Buddy Matthews back, I just feel like that's a good spot for him to be like the heater for MJF. Or even if he's not and he just comes back to, hey, what the hell? You left me high and dry. We were a tag team and now you're fighting for world titles and I'm over here, and maybe it just starts a big feud with him and Bro. I just feel like this is a really good spot for Buddy Matthews to make a return and start a blood feud with his former tag team champion partner, and former friend. I would love to see it. Butters, I'll go to you first on this. But I do think MJF retains, but I think there is chicanery that will happen. And my pick is Buddy Matthews coming back and screwing Brody.
With all my heart, I want Brody King to walk out the champion. I think that would be awesome. But obviously, yeah, MJF going to retain. If Buddy is healthy, I'd like to see him obviously attack Brody. If he's not healthy, at least come out on the stage to distract him, to give him something. There's definitely got to be some type of BS here for MJF, but I think that they can do it in a way that will make MJF look like he just outsmarted Brody. Brody was all brawn and no brains, whereas MJF is a mixture of both. So yeah, I feel like that's an easy one to call, but what if we were wrong and they actually just strapped up Brody for just until Revolution? Right? With all the hype he's been getting, just like it just feels right in my mind. Like it just feels like give us that guy that just we can be proud of and just be happy. Like he's our champion. He's our champion. Like I would feel that for him. Whereas like there's very few guys I could feel that for. On the roster, like maybe Swerve. After his first one was really great to see. A second one here, it seems like he might be going heel again. But like Brody, just like having that fandom behind him. And just being like, he's our guy. Like, I feel it. Like, it's almost one of those, the underdog moments where it's like you never get that spot and he finally got it. And we pushed him to that point. And, that'd be really cool to see. But I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. Ship.
Hey, that's the feel-good story. I get it. I kind of agree with JPJ. I think MJF goes over. He doesn't go over clean. And I think the reason Buddy Matthews comes back as the Buddy Matthews of House of Black, even though Ulster's gone. But they were a heel faction. Brody right now, I would consider him a face in this match. He's the face, sure. Right? So Buddy comes back basically saying, hey, you turned on us. You're not a heel anymore. You're a face. So F off. So he comes back, costing the match. I agree with that finish 100%. MJF, in a dogfight of a 20-minute match. I can picture MJF rolling out of the ring, holding that belt, just laughing, going, holy shit, what just hell happened, So yeah, That's the way. It's not. Feel good story. Put the belt on Brody. The guy, I wouldn't say the guy deserves it, but the guy's paid his dues. Never really held a lot of never held any independent gold in AEW. Always been a tag belt. So yeah,
and it does feel like his moment now. Like it feels like it's his moment. Like the crowd is always really. I mean, Bandito did a lot for both those guys, but Bandito really cemented Brody as a babyface to me, and it's clear that he has nobody looks like him. Nobody has that look, that presentation like that. Clearly, there are other factors of why people are behind him as well. I mean, what happened a couple weeks ago got national news the next day and stuff like that, and it wasn't because he squashed MJF. Like, that has momentum. Like, it just does kind of feel like Brody King is having a moment right now where he's kind of not even kind of by his own doing, but he's just been elevated by the fans. Really, the fans have elevated this guy to a world championship caliber guy.
And that's not something you could easily do.
Yes.
I think that when it happens organically like this, it's more impressive. And I feel like maybe as a promoter, TK is probably going to be like, well, it's not what I wanted. But at the same time, it's just like, man, like when you can get that fire, it just feels so much better as a fan. And I know TK is a fan, so it's like, when you get that as a fan, it's just like, just give us what we want. Just give us what we want. And like the story will make sense later. Like, just give us what we want. So
And out of all promoters, TK's the wild card to say, screw it, let's do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It feels like he would be
and
the
I think
guy.
That's why I have the most hope, the most hope for it is because it's TK. If it was the other company, I would be like, no, we're not. They got their plans. It is what it is. But this just feels special.
Yeah, it does. And it feels like it's something that could be a giant shock and out of nowhere, and it would feel right. And I think the crowd would adore it. But it's also I mean, again, if something like does happen with Buddy Matthews, then at least you have something else. If anything, I think it's proven that like Brody King belongs up in this area of the company, this area of the card. He is a legitimate guy. And again, I'm picking him to lose tonight, but I would hope that coming out of this, have him go for the TNT title, have him go for the Continental title. I don't care. Him and Moxley. Yes, please. Like, or him and, Takeshita, whatever.
Ricochet.
Like, yeah, Ricochet and the internet. Like, this guy should be going after singles titles and winning singles titles. And I think they have an opportunity to really cement him as a top babyface in the company. They would obviously do that if he leaves tonight as world champion. But I think even in a loss, I think they still there is a window here where you can really make this guy and make him the top guy that a lot of people clearly want him to be.
Well, and let's be honest, MJF loses. It doesn't hurt MJF. MJF has made his foundation where he loses this. He cuts a badass promo in a week and a half and works his way back up. MJF is there. So a loss really doesn't hurt him. We're never going to look down on MJF going, oh, shit, he lost to Brody King. No. MJF is like, we're excited about his promo of why he lost and how he's going to come back.
Yeah.
So he's there. He has that flexibility where MJF loses this. It doesn't hurt him and it promotes Brody King to the moon. I get that side of it. I still think MJF walks out.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would, again, as much as it sounds like all three of us would be pretty down for Brody King winning this tonight. Yeah. I think all three of us are also like, yeah, probably not gonna happen, sadly. But again, it's a hell of a card tonight, guys. It's a hell of a card. It's 6 strong matches for a free television show. This is a strong card, and I hope I expect the wrestling to be great because AEW almost every time hits it on the wrestling, but I hope they give us, a couple cool things to talk about coming out of this show tonight. It should be a great show, a great night of, as Kyle said in the chat, a good night of graps. And I want to thank both of you for joining me today on the Main Event Mixer. Before I let you guys promote your stuff and plug your things, if you've been watching, you've been in the chat today, thank you for tuning in and joining us today. We appreciate you very much. Give a thumbs up on the video, share it out if you can. If you hit this QR code right in the corner next to me, it will lead you to all of our links where you can follow us on all social media platforms at main-event_net, the Main Event Wrestling Network here. Butters, I will go to you first. Please let the people know where they can follow you and where they can find your content, my man.
So Charlie_Butters on Twitter and Instagram. I am 1/3 of IW Guide. We talk about indie wrestling every week. Usually we review shows from a couple promotions, and we also have interviews with indie talents. We're going to have MJ Santana on, who's an up-and-coming women's wrestler. That should be in like 2 weeks. This week, I think we're covering a super indie show that happened with a bunch of AEW talent out of the Northeast. So like we do that every week on Thursday. Every podcatcher out there has us in their Indie Wrestling Guide. And we also have a title belt. We do have a champion, Zay Garcia, on the Indies. He will be making his first defense of his title in an open challenge 1 week from today at Neo Pro Wrestling in Canton, Ohio. It should be a good time. Tickets are almost sold out, so it's one of our best venues there, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Butters, sorry, before I get there, Butter, first podcast I've done with you. So indie guy, I used to follow the indies a lot. Give me your top 3 indie promotions right now that you personally love to watch.
I personally love AEW out of Cleveland, Absolute Intense Wrestling. Like 95% of the AEW roster came through there at some point in time.
Cool.
ETU, Expect the Unexpected, out of New York. They also run like New Jersey. That's Jay Gold's home promotion.
Okay.
So he's always there at those shows. Love their talent there. Have a great relationship with them. And then probably the third, I would have said Deadlock, but now that they're not around anymore, I'm going to go with Action Wrestling out of Georgia. They were one of the first companies that we really clicked with and worked with the owner. We just had him on, Matt Griffin, wonderful guy, has his hands in all kinds of crazy stuff. He is one of the people that did the Action Wrestling Dean shows that actually had like Tony Khan and like a lot of like big names involved with it, mixed with like the ROH and stuff like that. So he's even been like co-promoting stuff with like AEW and ROH and stuff, so which is super cool. So those would be my big 3 that I watch pretty regularly.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, Shep. I'm not as much of an indie guy as obviously Butters or anything, but in the Northeast, Limitless Wrestling, based out of Maine, they do a lot of really, really, really great stuff. I would check them out, and then they've been around for a while, but Beyond Wrestling as well in Massachusetts does really Wrestling Open, and all those guys do some really great shit too. So that's at least the local North, New England, Boston area. Chaotic and stuff does great stuff too, but Limitless, I feel like Limitless and Beyond are probably the top 2 in New England. They really do some really, really great stuff if you want to check them out too. But Shep, where can people check you out? You and the boys over. I'm a former kicking out podcast heavyweight champion. Dang it.
You are next to the tuna fish.
I am. I put it in my fridge like CM Punk. I took a picture with it. But no, let the people know where they can find you guys and where they can follow you, my friend.
All right, every Sunday night, 8:30, Kicking Out podcast. We do our live recap of AEW. We go down many rabbit holes. I get off the record very many times. Tanner tried to keep me going, but every Sunday 8:30, you can follow me at the Shep27 on Instagram and Twitter. Kicking Out Pod on Instagram and Twitter. We have our merch on Pro Wrestling Tees. So if you like AEW and you like a bunch of random shit that I like to bring up, whether it's wrestling related or sports related, come hang out with us on Sunday nights at 8:30. Live on YouTube, Twitter, Spotify, all that shit. I'm not the tech guy. Tanner's the guy. He always has to hook me up on shit. But yeah. Appreciate you guys. Butters, first time doing a pod with you. Appreciate you, buddy. JPJ, always fun, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and you can follow me at JPJ Loves Gaming on all social media platforms. I was able to hop on Kayfabe and Coffee with Kyle this past Thursday. We talked Dynamite, so go check that out over
love that new show. Love that new show.
Oh yeah, it's a great show. It's a great show. That was a lot of fun. I was able to hop on with him on Thursday, so go check that out on YouTube. You can find me Thursday nights over on Love Wrestling with Pluggo, who also does some work here with us at Main Event for Between Two Beards. You can find me Sunday. Pluggo.
Piece of work.
He is a piece of. He's my main squeeze. I love that guy. And then you can find me Sunday afternoons, noon Eastern, over on Fightful Overbooked with my pal Auntie Collins, doing Coast to Coast. And you can find me. I got a Twitch and I do a bunch of other stuff throughout the week. So follow me at JPJ Loves Gaming. But tomorrow, right here on this very network, before the Kicking Out podcast at 8:30 p.m., at 7:30 p.m., we have a Dusty Finish going on here, so you all should be coming right back. So click that bell for notifications so you know every time we're going live here on the Main Event Wrestling Network. The Dusty Finish will be happening tomorrow, where they'll be reviewing Grand Slam, and I'm sure the rest of the week of pro wrestling. I believe Pluggo is going to be a part of that one tomorrow. So
and I'll be a part of it too.
Oh, there you go. And Butters will be.
You'll see me again.
There we go. Butters will be right back here as well. With some other friends. So come back here 7:30 p.m. Eastern tomorrow for the Dusty Finish. Want to appreciate everyone in the chat hanging out. Appreciate you boys sharing the screen with me today. This was a lot of fun. Hopefully it's not the last time. And thank you all for tuning in to the Main Event Mixer right here on Main Event Wrestling Network. Till next time, friends. We'll see you later. Peace out.
Peace.